GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Marc Beaumont. Tonight we'll unpack the 3-hour delay to the REM's reopening after overnight work and warn drivers about heavy congestion on Highway 40 as closures bite. We'll also highlight the record-setting WNBA crowd at the downtown arena. Over to you, Emma.
Lock and Paddle, the family-friendly kayaking festival, begins tomorrow on the Leclair Canal, offering guided tour, inflatable obstacle courses, and a variety of local food vendors.
Tickets cost $15 for adults and $8 for children, with free entry for seniors, and the event runs from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. each day.
The festival includes live folk music on a floating stage, featuring the Longest Johns performing traditional sea shanties at sunset on Saturday evening.
We've got a wonderful evening ahead, so without further delay, let's get started with the stories you've been waiting for. Good evening, Montreal. Overnight maintenance work by an external contractor has pushed back the scheduled reopening of the Réseau Express Métropolitain by roughly 3 hours. The light rail system, which was set to resume service this morning, will now remain offline until later this afternoon. Operators said the contractor's nighttime activities ran longer than anticipated, extending the weekend maintenance window. Commuters can expect trains to start running again after the revised timeline, with service expected to resume around the early evening. The delay affects riders across the network, including those traveling from the South Shore to downtown and from the North Shore to the airport. Officials thank passengers for their patience and advise checking real-time updates before planning trips. The REM, which connects the airport, downtown, and the South Shore, will complete safety checks before service resumes, and officials do not expect any further delays beyond the 3-hour shift.
Yesterday at the Bell Center, the Dallas Wings clinched a convincing 108-95 victory over expansion side the Toronto Tempo. The win was highlighted by a 34-point performance from rookie star Paige Buchers, who paced the Wings with a scoring outburst. The game drew 20,996 fans, shattering the previous WNBA regular season attendance record. Organizers said the packed arena underscored growing interest in women's basketball across the province. The Wings, coming off a strong early season stretch, used the momentum to pull away in the third quarter and never looked back. Toronto, still finding its rhythm as a new franchise, fought hard but could not match Dallas' firepower. The record crowd marks a milestone for the league and the city's sporting calendar. Fans cheered loudly as the scoreboard ticked higher.
Transport Canada announced it has placed a minister's observer on the Transportation Safety Board's probe of the freight train derailment that occurred near Repentigny last weekend. The observer will work alongside board investigators as they examine the cause of the incident, while a team of federal rail inspectors has been dispatched to the site to verify that safety protocols are being followed. Officials said the move is intended to reinforce the board's independent inquiry and ensure that any immediate hazards are addressed. The derailment, which involved several freight cars leaving the tracks in the northeast Quebec community, prompted a swift federal response. Transport Canada said the additional oversight will continue until the board completes its findings and any required corrective actions are implemented. The appointment came at noon, after weekend derailment that stopped train traffic for hours. Officials said observer will not affect independence and will provide oversight during probe.
Sophia Jensen clinched the silver medal in the C1 500-meter sprint at today's International Canoe Federation World Cup on Parc Jean-Drapeau. The Canadian paddler touched the finish in second place, just behind the gold medalist after a fierce battle over the 500-meter course. The event, part of the annual ICF Canoe Sprint World Cup Series, brings the sport's elite from across the globe to the island each summer. Competitors from countries including Germany, Hungary, and Australia also took to the water, underscoring the world-class depth of the field. Jensen's performance adds to a strong showing for home athletes on a course that winds through the park's scenic waterways. Officials confirmed the results shortly after the race concluded this afternoon, and the podium ceremony will follow later in the evening. The silver marks Jensen's latest achievement on the international circuit.
Today, Premier Christine Fréchette unveiled a new provincial project to transform a 5-kilometer stretch of Route 132 between Delson and St. Constant into a 4-lane urban boulevard. The announcement included the creation of a dedicated project office to oversee the redesign, which will add dedicated lanes for buses and cyclists alongside sidewalks and landscaping. Officials said the upgrade aims to turn the corridor into a multimodal thoroughfare that better serves commuters, shoppers, and residents on the South Shore. The plan calls for a complete refurbishment of the roadway, integrating transit-friendly infrastructure and active transport pathways while maintaining traffic flow. The province will coordinate with municipal partners to secure funding and begin detailed engineering studies in the coming months. The project is part of a broader effort to modernize key routes across the region. Later, we'll hear why Montreal fans are upset about heavy police at World Cup celebrations. More after the break. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you're still with us. Now, Emma Leclair will take us through today's local stories right here on the local Sunset.
Fans gathered in the downtown fan zone today are noticing a surge of officers patrolling the streets. Police have been deployed in larger numbers than at earlier matches, a move officials say aims to keep the World Cup celebrations safe. Several supporters, however, voiced frustration, saying the heightened presence feels excessive and dampens the festive atmosphere. The city's public gathering spots have been set up for the tournament Canada is co-hosting, and organizers stress that security is a priority. FIFA representatives confirmed they are working with local authorities to balance safety and enjoyment. Some attendees noted that the line of officers near food stalls and merchandise tents makes it harder to move freely, while a police spokesperson reiterated the deployment follows a risk assessment for crowds. As the celebrations continue through the weekend, police remain on the streets and conversation among fans about policing shows no sign of ending.
Former Olympian Marcel Jobin, now 84, still moves through the city with the same energy that carried him to the 1976 games held right here. The former competitor, born and raised in Quebec, spends his mornings cycling along the Latching Canal and afternoons volunteering at the local community center, reminding neighbors that staying active is possible at any age. He recalls the roar of the crowds in the Olympic Stadium and says the discipline he learned then guides his daily routine. Neighbors often see him strolling through the markets, greeting shopkeepers with a quick word about his training habits. Jobin's story offers a gentle nudge for anyone thinking about adding a walk or a bike ride to their day, proving that age alone doesn't set limits. His dedication inspires local youth clubs to organize weekly fitness sessions.
Tomorrow, the Metropolitan Commuter Rail will shut an 11-kilometer stretch of track after contractors performed work that did not meet standards. The closure, scheduled for tomorrow and the following day, hits a heavily trafficked corridor that carries thousands of riders each weekday. Officials said the faulty construction forced a 2-day suspension to repair the segment and prevent safety risks. Commuters can expect alternative bus service between the affected stations, though travel times will increase. Many office workers rely on the line to reach downtown jobs, and students use it for campus trips across the island. The rail operator has pledged to finish repairs by the end of the second day and will post updates via its app and station announcements. Some commuters may also need to adjust their morning schedules. Riders should allow extra time.
After the province struck a fresh agreement with family physicians, 6 family medicine groups have collectively enrolled more than 20,000 patients. The new pact, aimed at expanding primary care capacity, prompted several groups to almost double the number of families they serve. One doctor in particular now oversees a roster of over 3,300 patients, a notable rise from previous years. Health officials say the surge reflects both the incentive structure of the deal and a growing demand for regular medical follow-up. For many families, the expanded enrollment means quicker access to a local doctor and reduced wait times for appointments. The government plans to monitor the groups closely to ensure the added load translates into sustained, quality care across the province. Patients appreciate the continuity of care that larger panels can provide.
Quebec's Institut de la Statistique du Québec released its latest population projections Saturday, 11 July 2026 at 4 o'clock EDT. The forecast predicts that growth will vary sharply across the province, with several regions expected to experience a decline in residents while the overall demand for housing continues to rise. The Institute's data indicate that demographic shifts could alter regional planning priorities and affect the provincial housing market. Officials said the projections will be used by municipal and provincial authorities to adjust infrastructure and development strategies. The report underscores a pattern of uneven population change, contrasting areas of loss with zones where demand for new homes remains strong. The ISQ will update its models annually to track these trends.
Now let's check your evening forecast with our weather team, keeping you ahead of the night.
A westward jet and rising pressure are locking in dry, stable air while the sun lingers. On this date, Montreal's thermometer has reached an all-time high of 31.4 degrees Celsius in 2025, a spike that rode the tail of an unprecedented heat wave across southern Quebec. The cold counterpart sits at 11.8 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2016 during a sudden Arctic air plunge that shattered the winter norm. By contrast, the climate normal for July 11th hovers around 27 degrees for the high and 16 for the low, underscoring how today's readings sit comfortably between those extremes. The live radar map shows a blank canvas across the province, no precipitation echoes at all. With a modest north wind and a westward jet streaming at 75 kilometers per hour aloft, the air mass remains layered and dry, preventing any lift. That stability means no rain will arrive in the city tonight, and the clear sky will persist until after midnight. With the radar cleared, let's move to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a partly cloudy veil with a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius and humidity at 31%. A gentle north wind blows at 12 kilometers per hour, while the dew point rests near 6 degrees, keeping the air comfortably dry. Pressure is near average and nudging upward, reinforcing the stable layer that the westward jet at 75 kilometers per hour is capping. This combination locks in clear skies and limits any late-night convection. The UV index reads 6, and wind remains below the threshold for gusty conditions. No weather alerts are active. As the night unfolds, the sky will stay clear and temperatures will dip towards 16 degrees before sunrise, setting the stage for tomorrow's pattern. Looking ahead, Sunday will climb to a high of 28 degrees with a low of 17, and the sky will remain clear, extending tonight's dry spell. Monday brings a modest rise to 29 degrees, but cloud cover will dominate, keeping sunshine limited and humidity a touch higher. Tuesday spikes to a scorching 34 degrees, the warmest of the stretch, while a thick overcast layer holds temperatures near 22 at night, hinting at a lingering ridge aloft. Wednesday cools back to 29 degrees under a return to clear skies, allowing nocturnal lows to settle around 19. Thursday caps the period with a mild 25 degrees and a low of 16, clear and breezy, offering a gentle wind relief before the weekend. The sequence showcases a brief heat surge sandwiched between stable, dry conditions, reinforcing the prevailing high-pressure regime. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates on the Highway 40 closure, Lock and Paddle concert, and a look at MTY Food Group's closures. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Eastbound Highway 40 is closed between the airport exit and Highway 15 for asphalt work, pushing all traffic onto the westbound lanes and onto Highway 15. Expect up to 20-minute backups on the airport ramps and heavy queuing on Boulevard St. Laurent. Westbound Claimant Bridge runs a single lane, slowing traffic toward downtown. On Highway des Curies, the northbound lane between SHAIR Brook Street and Chemin de la Côte, St. Luc is closed for repairs, creating bottlenecks at the des Curies interchange. Highway 520 and the Louis H. LaFontaine Tunnel each have one lane reduced, adding roughly 10 minutes to travel. The 13 to a 520 interchange is partially closed. Drivers should use the 15th instead. Transit, the Green Line at Berry-UQAM is out after a signal failure, with service expected back by 4:30. Exo Line 30 runs on a single track through Vaudreuil-St. Catherine, delaying service until 6 o'clock. Bus 55 on Jean Talon reports slower trips due to the highway congestion.
Tonight, the sky over Parc Jean Drapeau bursts with color as the International des Feux Loto Quebec fireworks competition lights the city, a nightly spectacle perfect for summer evening with friends or family. Earlier this afternoon, the Latching Canal invites everyone to Free Lock and Paddle Day, with music, a lockage ceremony, and kid-friendly activities along the waterway. For music lovers, the Longest Johns take the stage at Theatre Beanfield on St. Laurent, delivering lively sea shanties that echo the city's maritime heritage. And for a taste of the Roaring Twenties, Brackwidge offers an immersive theater experience inside a hidden speakeasy at Theater Immersive, blending drama, music, and interactive storytelling for a night you won't forget. Looking ahead, Startup Fest kicks off at the Old Port later this week, promising networking and innovation for the city's entrepreneurs. And from July 10 to 12, the Old Port will sizzle with the taste of the Caribbean, a food festival serving island flavors and live rhythms. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest Montreal sports headlines, from basketball to soccer and hockey. Toronto Tempo fell 108-95 against the Dallas Wings at the Bell Center, marking the WNBA's first regular season game in Montreal. Despite the loss, Laura Juscate praised the electric crowd, noting the venue's vibrant energy. That same Montreal showdown drew a league record crowd, as the Tempo Wings matchup set a new WNBA attendance high. Officials highlighted the turnout as a milestone for women's basketball in Canada, underscoring growing fan interest across the country. The Montreal Roses announced the addition of two internationally experienced forwards, Marie-Yasmine Aladou and Eve Perisset, ahead of the upcoming season. Club officials said the signings bolster the squad's depth and bring valuable pedigree as the team prepares for its campaign. An international sports firm injected $30 million into the Northern Super League, the Canadian women's professional soccer competition now in its second season. The funding supports clubs in Vancouver, Calgary, Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa, aiming to strengthen the league's growth and visibility. The Montreal Canadiens have dealt veteran forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. Management noted the move reflects roster adjustments, while Vancouver looks to add Gallagher's experience as they shape their lineup for the coming campaign.
MTY Food Group, the Montreal-based franchisor behind Thai Express, Manchu Wok, and a dozen other concepts, operates restaurants in neighborhoods from the Plateau to Verdun. Today the company announced it will close 68 locations nationwide as earnings dip, a move aimed at tightening its portfolio after a tough profit slump. While the closures spare Quebec outlets, the ripple reaches local diners who have come to rely on quick, affordable meals after work or school. For the communities that lose a spot, the empty storefront is a reminder of how volatile the restaurant world can be. Yet MTY's continued presence here underscores the entrepreneurial spirit that keeps Montreal's streets lively and diverse. Stay tuned for an inspiring look at 84-year-old Marcel Jobin, still active after his 1976 Olympic run, a true Montreal legend.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches, no middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
On a crisp early autumn afternoon at École Saint-Jean-Baptiste on St. Laurent, a chorus of laughter echoed from the gym where a newly painted mural of a soaring snow owl greeted students. The transformation began when Minister Sonia Lebel announced that the province's textbook allocation could be redirected toward enrichment activities, answering a petition from teachers who dreamed of more than pages and ink. In the art room, bright paint tubes lined the shelves, and a modest grant funded a community-led mural project that now stretches across the school's west wall, each brushstroke a story of collaboration between parents, local artists, and the children themselves. Across the hall, the music department received a set of refurbished violins, their polished wood catching the afternoon light as young hands lifted the bows for the first time. The moment that captured the day was when a fifth grader, eyes wide, whispered, "We can finally learn to play together," as the class gathered around the new instruments. It's a reminder that when resources are shared with imagination, the whole neighborhood feels the lift. Montreal continues to nurture its young minds with creativity and community.
On a crisp autumn evening at Percival Molson Stadium, the Montreal Alouettes welcomed the Calgary Stampeders, and the buzz in the stands centered on a very personal duel. Twin brothers Tyson and Jalen Philpott, both leading receivers for their clubs, lined up opposite each other under the stadium lights. The brothers, who grew up sprinting through the streets of St. Laurent, now wore matching blue and red jerseys, their helmets glinting as the crowd counted down the final seconds before kickoff. One vivid moment captured the heart of the matchup. As the ball spiraled toward Tyson on a deep route, Jalen leapt, stretching his arms like a dancer, only to see the pass slip just beyond his fingertips. The stadium held its breath, then erupted in cheers for the skill and sportsmanship on display. After the final whistle, the twins met at midfield, exchanged a quick hug and a laugh, reminding everyone that rivalry can coexist with brotherly love. It makes you wonder how many families feel that same pride. It's a reminder that in the heat of competition, the ties that bind us can shine the brightest.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us this evening. A big congratulations to Sophia Jensen for her silver medal in the Canoe Sprint World Cup, a proud moment for our city. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe, stay curious, and see you at sunset.